All right, well, good morning, everybody. As per the usual, if you have any questions, throw them up in the chat. We'll get those answered as quickly as we possibly can. I wanted to go over a couple of things on my end, and then Adam's going to go over 3-day notices. He's also going to ask a question to you guys to make sure that he is presenting the correct notice that you guys are using daily. But other than that, it's going to be a relatively short call. We've got a couple of changes that we wanted to bring to your attention, but other than that, it's just going to be questions that you guys have for us about any topic at all that we can answer for you, and then we'll move on from there. So I wanted to start here with the receipt metrics, and as you guys can see, we're at 85%, which is the first time we've ever been that high at this point in time, which is huge. I wanted to point out a couple of properties such as Clover, who we were not even going to count until next month, who did so well that we went ahead and put them in the metrics this month already. They came in from 22.6% last month to 82% this month, which was a huge jump. And Angela, you and your team are doing an incredible job. That's just awesome. Also wanted to shout out Keisha at Axio, who, as you can see, is at 99.67% with one manual payment and only one. That's just incredible. Well done. Again, I'm super proud of you and your team, so please keep those numbers coming. It seems like everybody is on an uptick right now, and as you can see from the difference in numbers here, I'm going to try and do that without taking the property code away. Doesn't look like it can, but you get the idea of what the number is. It seems like everybody across the board is increasing, which is amazing. Please keep those numbers up. I know that we're still early in the month, and we got a couple weeks left to go, but as it stands right now, we've reached our goal, and if we can continue to close out this month with the trend that we've set right now, then we're going to close out over our goal, which is going to be awesome. So please keep working hard. Oh, and I forgot Tennyson. They processed 211 manual payments last month, and they're only at 74 this month. So they crested 80% again, which is just awesome. So other than that, your stats are here. I'm going to email this out to everybody in the follow-up email as well. I did the this month comparison on this side and last month comparison on this side here with the difference in this column. So when you guys are looking at it later, you know what it means, and I'll put a little header or something up here so you guys can track it easier. But other than that, are there any questions about the receipt metrics or what we're looking for or how your property's doing? I wanted to point out Keisha. I talked to her yesterday, and she said that one of the things that she's doing is she put out a notice via Rent Cafe that said effective November 1, we're no longer accepting any manual payments. When she did that and she has delinquency or anything else that she's trying to collect, she has them go to Walmart and call her from Walmart, and then she unlocks the eviction status so they can pay with WIPs the total amount. That has kept her manual payments, as you can see, down to 1, and I'd be interested to know what this manual payment was for. But as you can see, it drastically increased her numbers. So that's just a suggestion that she gave to me that I wanted to pass on to you guys. It seems to be working for her. If there are no other questions, then I'm going to move into phase 2, which is we are changing the screening policy. It will be effective November 15th. Again, I'm going to send this out to everybody, so don't feel like you've got to quickly read through this and screen cap it. But everything in red will be changed. So it looks like that we're increasing the tier 1 to 3.25 times the rent. And then I'm not going to go through every line, but as you can see, everything here in red will be changing, and it will be changing based on the tier that you fall under. I'm going to send this out in an email. Carrie wanted me to make sure that I addressed it here on the phone. But I think it's better, quite honestly, if you just get the spreadsheet in front of you and you can look at exactly what changes will apply to you. But they will be changing, and they will be effective November 15th. I'm going to be updating all of the qualifying criteria on that date. And I already have them, so they're good to go, and I'll send them to the properties as well. Any questions about the tiered status and what's changing? I know that was super quick. You guys are super quiet this morning. Awesome. Last but not least, I have gotten several emails about Rent Cafe where they're saying, my email management button is no longer here. How do I send emails? This button here, where it used to be, the email management is no longer there. That was the incorrect location to send emails. Mostly everybody, I guess, was using that, and we had an error where a community manager accidentally sent an email to all of her prospects as well as all of the prospects to other communities. And in order to ensure that doesn't happen anymore, I just took this button completely off. but there is still a way for you to send emails, never fear. It is simply by just going to properties here at the top left, selecting whatever property you'd like to select. In this case, I'll select Axio. And then under marketing here, you have email management. It works the exact same way. It's actually better because you can track the analytics a little bit easier. It will also preload all of the emails that you have personally sent yourself and any templates that we have for the community. And it's just a little bit more user-friendly. It loads much faster too. I don't know if you guys noticed that the company management, email management loads extremely slow. This one is much faster. So be sure that you're using this one. It is still available to you, and I just wanted to take the other one off to eliminate any confusion. Any questions about that? Wow. Well, at this pace, we're going to be done in like 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Adam. He's going to talk about 3-day notices and any other questions that you guys may have. If y'all have questions about Rent Cafe or Yardi that don't pertain to what we're talking about, please ask. For those of you in the Dallas area, I'm hosting a new hire training for Rent Cafe. So all things Rent Cafe will be covered tomorrow. If you want a refresher, please also join. There's not like a limit on how many people I want there. I want to make sure that everybody has the knowledge, especially since next year we're going to be really pushing the online initiative for leases. I know that we've been pushing it this year, but we're going to actually focus on it like we've been focusing on payments this year for next year. So if you guys have any questions, please stop by, shoot me emails, whatever you need to do. So Adam, I am turning it over to you if you are ready.
Yeah.
Perfect. Making presenter now.
Okay. Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
You said you were ready. Just kidding.
I was, but this didn't load quick enough. See, it's still taking forever. Okay, cool. Okay, so again, we had a request for how to do 3-day notices. So if you guys are on the call, please, if you have any specific questions, please feel free to speak up. If not, they'll get the video and they'll be able to watch it. And hopefully, if we have any questions, we'll let it. Or sorry, if we have any questions and answers, we will let everyone know on the follow-up email. So the first thing is, if someone could jump in and let me know how you actually are processing your 3-day notices to vacate.
Well, Adam, this is Keisha with Axio.
Yep.
I was told to go to report, and then once you select report, you go down to SQL report, and then you do a search for 3-day and having to pick Crystal.
Crystal,
the Crystal
okay.
one, it's
Perfect.
not working on our end.
Interesting. Okay. So that is what I thought you guys were doing, but there's a couple of reports there, so I didn't know which one was specifically being used. So again, if you don't know, we're just going to SQL reports from any menu down at the bottom. And then here, I believe it's sample, correct? It's one of these ones, the Crystal?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried them, but none of them worked for me.
Interesting. Okay. So let me. So I'm hopefully going to give you guys an easier way of doing this. So let's just see if this is working correctly. So basically what this is doing, if anyone else has any other ways that they've been doing these through Voyager, please let us know. But the issue that we had with these is, as you noticed on that screen, there was really only like 4 filter options, and it's not letting you choose only the people who are delinquent. It's going to literally create a report for everyone, and you have to go sift through which ones you actually want and pick just those, which is another reason why this is taking so long. So, okay.
So not fair that just worked for you. I'm like,
So interesting.
I knew it was going to work too.
Do you know what it was doing?
So it would actually kick back an error that said it would automatically log me out. It would go to the "you're no longer logged in" screen. So
interesting. So try it after we get off the call, and if it's still doing that, shoot me an email and we can get on a GoToMeeting, because I mean, if that's happening for people, so part of that is this format of reports, Crystal, is basically for the most part no longer supported. So we're trying to move away from them, and unfortunately right now they're the only things that are available. So as you notice here, the first one even is a good example. They have a prepay. Obviously you're not going to send them a notice to vacate. So you'd have to sift through 204 of these to determine which ones you're actually going to use. So this is actually well, I guess it is basically the same. Okay, so again, this is one way of doing notices. Again, it will eventually go away. So we're going to be looking at doing it a different way, and I'm going to show you that now. It is available in the live system. However, I'm still working on the format of the report, and you'll see what I mean. So if you're on your main screen, if you go to reports, and then resident, and residential correspondence. Okay, and it's going to give you a very complicated screen. It's actually fairly simple. It's going to default to a resident statement, 3-day notice to vacate. There are other ones that are there that are active in the system. The 3-day notice to vacate is the one that I just created. Everything else on this side should just remain the same. You basically only need to work on this one. So you are going to, obviously your property is going to be automatically entered in there. The post month, you'll want to make sure that the post month is basically this month so that the charges show up for this month. And then the document date will default to today's date. The biggest thing with this is there is an amount owed, which means if you're sending notices to vacate for everyone who owes $100 to anything, you would just do that. You can select just current and notice people if you want, and display. And this might take a few seconds depending on how many people there are, because it's going through and calculating, but it's going to give you a list of everyone who falls into this criteria of owing basically over $100. So if you come in here, you can verify these very easily because there's drill downs. So you can come in here and say unpaid charges. Okay, they have a lot of unpaid charges. Obviously they should be on here. So again, once you get this list, there is a generate documents button. So for the sake of not spending forever doing this, I'm going to shorten the list a little bit so it only generates for 2 people. Obviously you'd want to generate for everyone, but for sake of time, I'm going to do it for these 2 people. So right now, this should be defaulted to being on, which means it's going to, once you click generate documents, it's going to generate a document for each of these people and then open a PDF file. And we will see that. Okay, it's supposed to. Okay, it's supposed to open the PDF file automatically, but if it doesn't, a little statement button comes up here. You just click on any of them, and it'll pull up the one PDF document. That's because I already had it open. That's why. Okay, so as you can see, it generates 1 page. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay, that is part of the formatting for the Word document that I'm working on. So I can correct that. It will generate 1 page per tenant. So as you can see, I have it set up so that it pulls in basically all the information. I guess some of the property information is not totally correct. Again, that's just formatting. And then it'll pull in the full balance, and eventually it will pull in the individual charges that they owe and the amounts. So again, I think this is easier. It's something that I've been trying to get into the system, but I just haven't had any time. but I have this basic one that I just threw in there. So the biggest thing with this is obviously notice to vacates need to have fairly specific wording. So if you like the wording on the 3-day sample, I can basically just copy that exactly. I don't actually know if this copies it exactly or not, but again, if you want something specific, let me know, and I can tailor these to either to property or, again, just basically cover all bases and everyone can use it. So that is, like I said, that is what we're working on. This shouldn't take all that long to just modify this. And so these should be available to use, well, 3-day notices should have gone out already, which means they should be available to use next month, definitely. Any questions, comments, specific things that people would like to see or anything like that? Yeah.
I have a question. So what if we have other balances? Let's say, for example, today we want to send out maybe small balances, so forth and so on. Can we use this to do that as well?
Yeah, so the idea behind this system is that it can basically be used for anything. So right now in the system, there is, I believe, what you would be looking for is balance due first. So if you wanted to do that, you would just put in, boy, it doesn't, apparently it does not, tab does not work. I don't actually know if it's going to pull anyone, but let's see. Of course, okay. So again, this is the balance due first, and these are all available. As of right now, they are set up to all be available to all properties. Like I said, we can tailor them to be specific properties, and the idea behind that is, you know, basically Texas might have a different letter than Oklahoma. If that's the case. And that would be the idea behind that, but it is possible to do that. So once I just click generate, so we just need to wait a second. This was a letter that was, it was probably created years ago, and it's almost, I think if this is the one I'm thinking about, it's almost comical in nature, but let's see. Again, these can be modified very easily. They're literally just Word documents that can be opened and modified and then uploaded back in. So it's very, very, very easy to update them. Yeah. So again, it's just a reminder. It pulls in, again, it pulls in their specific information, the specific apartment number. It doesn't have any names or anything like that. It just says, hey, you owe $15, and that's it. And then each one, I guess this is specific for property. Interesting.
Like the oops.
Yeah, exactly. So these do look to be specific to property. Interesting. Hold on one second.
That was Oakland Heights, my property.
I don't. Come on. Okay, yeah. So these are specific, but I can go through and remove that information and pull in the property information that it's actually pulling from. So hold on, I will write that down because as of right now, I assume those are not being used. So like I said, those can be used, I know probably months ago, I think it was actually in our training, our on-site training, I asked people to provide documents that they're sending out so I can enter them in the system. I actually think I got one or two, and I just have not had time to go through them. So again, if you're those people, I apologize. But again, if you have documents that you want to send out this way, I can certainly add them. I can't guarantee that it'll get in today, but I would say by, if it's like a balance due or something like that, I can get it in pretty quickly if you email me the document. If it's something specific for notice to vacate, if you get it to me, I will have it in for December. And yeah, I'm sorry, what's up?
Adam, when you're speaking of documents such as if we have an NSF letter, we could forward that over to you, or patio letter.
Yes. So the biggest thing. So basically, here I can actually show you where here it is. So this is the actual document that is used. So okay, there you go. That's exactly why it's 2 pages.
There's nothing on the screen yet.
Really?
At least not for me.
Can anyone see Microsoft
There you
Word?
go.
Now?
I see it now.
Okay. So this is the actual document. This is just text, which is why it pulled in text. These are all actual tokens. There is a very, very, very long list of tokens that can be added into these. So again, they can be tailored for lease information, for rent amount, for excuse me, sorry. For roommates' names, all leasing names, and stuff like that. So if you have any kind of, like I said, documents that you would want to get into the system for this, yes, definitely let me know. And again, it needs to be in just a Word document. And then you don't need to put the tokens in, but just put something in either quotes or brackets or something that says basically what the information in that spot should be, and I can get the tokens added in. And there was something else, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, and the biggest thing is that these are the filters that are available. So again, yeah, for NSFs, you could just go through and, well, actually, I guess it would be easier if you knew which units had NSFs, just go through and check. Only one at a time. Interesting. Never mind then. Okay, you can multi-select tenants. You'd have to multi-select tenants. You can't multi-select units. But again, you could select, there's the specific people that you want and just generate for those people. And again, if you have, well, those aren't very helpful for balances, but for anything else, you could do it. Any other questions? And again, or not again, but if you see this section down here, there is the ability to generate and email these. It's not set up. It takes a little bit more setup, but it is possible to do. So if we wanted to do that, we would probably need multiple properties who are kind of on board with that, because it is a fairly heavy setup of it. But again, it is possible to do it. I think that's it. Any more questions, comments, or anything else? Okay, then we can move into basically any questions of any kind.
You guys gonna have to wake up.
All right.
Good morning.
So I have one more, just kind of an announcement. So I believe Sabine reached out to some of you, but I'm sure not everyone. Okay. If you are on your home,
The question was, I'm sorry, where do you specifically go to find this? So he's just going to review how we got back to that screen.
Yeah. On your main screen, if you go to reports, and then reports, resident, and then residential correspondence. Obviously, you can just type in residential or correspondence in the search, and it would come up as well, and it'll go straight to the screen. And then the documents are all here. Just know that if you are using this and you want to use a different document, you have to select the document first, otherwise it refreshes all of the information. So again, if you don't remember, you just have to enter the information in again, but that should be the first step if you're using a different document than the first one. And like I said, we can generate documents for basically anything, and they can be property specific. If you actually make your Word document property specific, I can make the document property specific in the system. So don't worry if you have, you know, your header or something like that from the property, we can make it just property specific and it's just yours. If other people want to use the wording or something like that, we can talk about that at a different time if people need those documents. Okay. So the other thing, we're looking at, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this has been mentioned to anyone or brought up. I know Sabine was going to be reaching out to people, but we will be in the Dallas office in a month, and we're looking for if people are interested in basically any kind of training or like hands-on or anything like that with anything to do with Voyager. I guess you could probably say anything. We're looking for topics just to kind of get more value out of me being there. And I believe Jordan is going to be there. I don't know if we actually have any plans on anything else, but I know Slade is also. So if you have anything, if you're interested in doing anything or learning anything, just let your regional know. And that is it.
Okay.
So I saw that a couple of people arrived a little bit late, which is perfectly fine. Just so they are aware, I don't know which screen it's going to show. Perfect. You're going to be getting an email today. All of the qualifying criteria for your tiers have a couple of changes in them. This matrix will be sent out to you. So don't freak out about you having to read it all right now. But this will be changing. It'll be changing November 15th. And then your receipt metrics as well will be emailed back to you today. For those that arrived late, this is where you're at for this month. So far it's looking really good considering that we had to update a couple of things. We had a couple of refinance communities whose WIPS processes were shut down. And even with that, we still made 85%, which is huge. So it's going to be awesome. Jax, I see that you asked a question that says when in a month. When will we be here? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I assume so.
Okay. We'll be here December 4th through December 7th.
Or closer or around there.
Well, I'll be here December 4th through December 8th. And then I go back home. I'm not sure how long Adam will be here.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet either.
Any other questions? Please ask us. We're here.
So I did actually think of something. Sorry. So good news. We ran through an upgrade. I know you guys have been getting a lot of emails about, hey, if something is broken, let us know. Everything so far has been going good. But we actually did an upgrade last night that should have totally fixed the make ready process. Meaning, one, let's see, I guess the functionality that we talked about in training months ago is now working. If you put someone on notice, the unit is getting set with the correct make ready date and available date, and then, which was broken before, it was putting the current date, which is obviously not good. Plus, if you are going to make ready a unit, it is using the current date to put that unit ready. So it's not using whatever date you had initially set to make ready, it is using the current date. And again, all that functionality is working. On a side note, you're actually now able to move someone in if the unit is not ready. I'm sorry, if the unit is ready but with the wrong date. So if you have a ready unit and it's ready tomorrow and you need to move someone in today, the system will let you move them in no matter what. So they added that functionality, and we just obviously left it so that you should not be getting errors for make ready stuff as long as the unit is actually made ready. So just know that it should cut down on at least some of the cases coming into us and on your headaches. So you shouldn't have difficulty moving people in because of make ready anything. If you do, please let me know. But again, it's been thoroughly tested, again, only by myself though. So hopefully we're good on that. So that's it. I just wanted to let you guys know instead of sending out another email.
That also means there really shouldn't be any reason for, hey, change my lease start date because we moved them in and we weren't able to do it. So please make sure that those lease dates are correct before you move them in. Triple check if you have to, quadruple check, make sure they match the lease.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thoughts, concerns, likes, dislikes? Are you all having good days at least? I mean, goodness, come on. Y'all are so quiet.
Hello.
It's cold here in San Antonio, so we're frozen. and we're trying to thaw out.
How cold
Fair
is it there
enough.
right now? Oh yeah, that cold. Must have frozen your phone too. Wow.
Okay, guys, thank you for your information. Have a great day, everyone.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.